What's up, guys? So I'm in my car right now, and today I noticed two huge differences in how I am now and how I was a couple years ago that are beneficial. So the first one is eye contact. I made it my goal after reading up on good body language to not always look down when I'm walking, especially when you're walking around such a large college campus as I do. A lot of people, especially me, they tend to walk with their head straight down, like looking at the ground. And then whenever they look up, they avoid eye contact and stuff like that. Actually, surprisingly, since I started actually doing it, I've noticed, okay, it's not as prevalent as I thought. I mean, there's a good portion of people who do it, but there's also a good portion of people who are super confident and don't. And a lot of times what happens is a lot of these people who do look up and look around when they're walking, they'll notice my eye contact and they'll involuntarily say hi, just because I'm looking at them, and I say hi back and carry on. And it's this subtle change that I think it's very helpful. I forced myself to do it, and it was tough to begin with. It was uncomfortable, and sometimes it still is, but for the most part, I've been getting fairly good reactions. Just people, even occasionally a girl who will say hi, because I'm not looking down at the ground while I'm walking, or just expressing that I'm severely depressed when I'm actually looking up. It's really cool. The second thing, and the biggest thing, is I'm a lot more nicer, and I don't expect anything back. And on top of that, I don't overthink situations or care too much what people think, when especially it's negative. So let me give you an example. Today I actually got a pizza. Here's the pizza. It's a whole pizza, and yes, right now I am driving through my college. I don't know if you can see that. It's an entire pizza, and it's because of how my dining system works. You can't cash out the points if you run over, so you just have to spend it all before the semester ends, or you just lose those points. And so I got a whole pizza for my family, and when I was getting it, and I do this more often now. Actually, I never used to do it. When I was a freshman, I feel like I was more, I wouldn't say selfish. Okay, I was selfish in certain ways and a lot more shy. So I wouldn't have done what I did. And all I did was, after ordering the pizza, I told her, take your time, and then I smiled. And she smiled back, and she was so happy, because I knew how hard these people work, and a lot of times they're just really, really bitter, and I wanted to at least be nice to them. And I decided it'd be better to wait a little bit and not rush them and make them a little happier, and that's what they did. That's what happened. And after I got the pizza, I was like, thank you so much, have a great day, and I smiled, and she was just very, very happy about it. And I've done similar stuff like that. When I was just yesterday, I had to renew my domain for one of the websites I own, and I was chatting with a live customer support, and I could tell, if you ever work in those sort of live chat things, it's a very harsh environment. The people calling in wanting their problems fixed, most of them are very bitter and angry and abusive, and they want their problem fixed now, and then they'll rate you as low customer service even if you tried your best. And this girl was she was so nice, which I found very, very surprising, because people weren't that, most people after years of that, they wouldn't be that nice. And so I just took my time. I told her, take your time. I was very, very nice to her, and I waited patiently, and everything I asked for, I told her, you know, take your time, and occasionally I put a smiley face just to make sure it was coming across that I was being nice. And here's the biggest difference. It's the fact that I'm not like looking for anything in return. I would say when I was a few years younger, I'd say that somewhere deep down, a part of me would only be nice in order to get something in return. I would only turn on that nice switch because I wanted them to be nice back to me, or because I wanted something back. Otherwise, I would just be my sort of cold, dark self. I wasn't that dark, but yeah, if freshman me went in and ordered that pizza, I would have just gone in with a neutral to kind of scary face and just asked for the pizza, and then just walked away. And I would have been in a sort of probably slightly depressed mood all day, and then when I got the pizza, I probably wouldn't have said thank you unless I wanted like a thank you back from the person. And yeah, customer support, if I were to have gone through that, I would have been pretty mean, and I probably wouldn't have been so nice to the person, and I probably would have even gotten outraged and said they should have done it faster, and I might have left in a neutral to possibly bitter mood. And I'm exaggerating, of course. I believe everyone exaggerates slightly when they're recalling their past, but that's the biggest change. And the biggest thing is, my life isn't going that well. I mean, it's not horrible, but you know, some of the problems I had back then, I still sort of have. Like I'm 21 now, and I still don't have a girlfriend. But it's not the biggest thing in the world. It's not like now it could be so much worse. Like I could be a monk, and those people, they choose to be virgins for the rest of their lives. And for me, it's not like I couldn't get a girlfriend, but well, it was, but since then I've self-improved myself, and I've had chances to potentially get girlfriends, but they weren't the best quality inside or outside. So I mean, that's the difference. Like I'm not willing to settle, and so I'm still working through my problems. I'm not like most people who sort of have my sort of mentality. They're usually like rich, or they're well off, or they're just completely content with their life, which is why they can sort of like be so nice and cheerful to others without looking for anything in return. But for me now, it's sort of like, you know what, my life's not perfect. I'm still trying to get by, and it's still not, I haven't achieved all my goals. But if I can make another person even slightly happier with just that little bit of extra energy by smiling, or saying thank you, or take your time, or making them feel appreciated, why not do that? Because at the end of the day, that's one person happier. And it may not be me, but that's one person happier in the world. And you know, maybe one day I can feel that too. And I do feel like happiness is a choice. So in certain ways, I can choose to be happy right now. And it's hard to do. I know it's really tough to do right now, but yeah, I guess I can try to choose to be happy right now. I can't say I can just automatically do that, but yeah, the point is, even if I'm not feeling that great, and I know I might not ever get anything in return, why not just make someone else's day much better? And that's something I wasn't willing to do maybe a couple years ago, because I was more selfish. And that's the biggest change for me. And yeah, let's just go by and work it out. So I hope you guys learned something from that. And wouldn't the world be great if everyone was just happy all the time? But that's not the case. That's the nature of humans, honestly. I think the species, as it is now, it's designed to sort of grow exponentially unless something's done. And because of the limited resources and stuff, I think that's one of the factors that sort of causes people to always struggle for something limited. And because of that, there might always be unhappiness. I don't know. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. I mean, come on. The biggest thing, if you take nothing else out of this video, just remember that you're a lot better off than a lot of people, and for that alone you should be pretty happy. I know it's sort of far-fetched and hard to comprehend as of this moment, but recently I read an article about this guy who gave up a life of riches living on his yacht. Well, he didn't live on his yacht, but he owned a yacht, and what he did was he gave it all up to live off the grid, and that means without electricity. And he's just living there homeless, and he says it's the most happiest year he's ever lived, without all the bills, the traffic jams, the utility bills, and all that, because now he has stuff he didn't have before, which was a huge community of actual real friends, great people, healthy living, and he knows he's doing well to the environment, and he doesn't feel like he has to compete with others or compare himself to others anymore, and he's not under the exposure of the media. So it's such a great story, and we'll see what happens. So that's all I gotta say. And again, if you take nothing else from this video, just remember, like, you're much better off than a lot of people. If you're not starving, if you're not constantly under the threat of death, I mean, those are real problems, like death, fear of starvation, fear of being killed or taken into a gang, diseases, STDs, HIV, malaria, a lot of problems that are actual real problems people face, such as like health concerns. Like, a lot of people, a whole lot, millions, they die from just lack of clean water, or lack of sanitation, or just lack of hygiene when giving birth to a child. Millions. Or just like transfer of lethal diseases because of mosquitoes. And it may seem so far-fetched because you're living in the US or somewhere prosperous, but what about those other people who are dying from cancer in the United States? I mean, there's so many stories, and I actually know of two at our school. These were two kids that were just students at our school. They were living their lives normally like everyone else, and both of them, neither of them know each other. I met them separately on different occasions. Both of them, out of the blue, got brain cancer. Now, I don't know if there's something causing brain cancer at our school, our big state university, but just out of the blue. And they're like 18, 19-year-old individuals going through chemotherapy. It's terrible. So, like, you never know when this will strike, and the danger of it is that cancer, really, we still don't know what causes it or how to really go about preventing it. So it's just luck of the draw. And one day you can be here, and then, like, even for me, I mean, tomorrow I could have cancer, and then the next day I could be, well, not the next day, but the next week I could be dead, and that could happen to you. I mean, I don't mean to scare you, but the point is just to really enjoy life as much as you can, because you never know, and realize that your problems aren't like real problems. I mean, they can still be viewed as problems, but when we start to take things for granted, our problems start to get more microscopic. Let me rephrase that. Our microscopic problems become bigger in our perception. And that's all I gotta say. As always, like, favorite, comment, and subscribe for more videos. It's completely free, and we'll see what happens. Oh yes, and one last thing. I don't know if this is actually true, but according to Wikipedia and the mythology / history behind it, apparently, I think it was Buddhism. Yeah, Buddha was an actual dude who used to be a prince. That's right, he used to be a prince. He lived in lavish mansions and so forth. And he was so isolated from the rest of the world that one day when he was like 21, he escaped the confinements of his lavish living, and then he experienced the devastation of the real world, which included starvation, stealing, hunger, poverty, death, and treachery. And he's completely renounced his prosperous lifestyle and I guess started meditating and stuff like that. But that's what I read up on Wikipedia briefly. I don't know if that's true, but it's something to think about. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.